Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer and today we're taking a look at Azov. Now Azov, whatever you want to call it, is a 64-bit virus that affects Windows operating systems. Now for anybody that's familiar with Azov, you may immediately think this is not a virus, it's ransomware. And normally you'd be correct. However, in this sense, it's been modified in such a way that it's no longer ransomware and it's been modified just to be a file infecting virus, which is really cool to me. But before we get any further into the malware, we're going to take a look at it on the Threat Insights portal, courtesy of Nike Analytics, who is also the one that uploaded the malware. The malware name is Chrome_PWA launcher.exe. Last analyzed 1 day ago. The size is 1.42 megabytes, uploaded by Nike, and reputation of 0 as nobody has actually rated it. Threat score of 100. If we go down to detections, we can see Reversing Labs gives it malicious Win64 virus Expiro, which is actually the wrong name for it. I can see why some of these companies are thinking that it is Expiro, because the infection method is relatively similar. But if we keep going, we'll see a lot more people are saying Azov anyway. If we go to virus total, this has a 50-50 detection. Detections virus.expiro/Azov is the popular threat label. Hatching Triage gives it a score of 10 out of 10. Azov, adware, discovery, and persistence. AnyRun flags it as 100 out of 100. Threat level 2, malicious activity. Threat Zone gives it a malicious score of 3. Kaspersky OpenTip again flags it as malware, but with no name. Unpack Me says it has 1 AV detection. And CyberFortress gives it a malicious confidence of 98.2% with shellcode, patch, Expiro, and virus. Now, if we go over to Virus Total, we can also take a look at a new feature, which is associations, if the browser wants to work today. And we can see that both JaffaCakes118 and Carlos Cabal have updated or uploaded IOCs that relate to Azov malware. Now, during testing, Jaffa's was like an hour old, so she's actually updated it. And the MD5, SHA-1, and SHA-256 will be in the description or the comments down below. So if you want to look at it either on the Threat Insights portal or Virus Total, that's how you'll be able to do so. Go ahead and minimize this, and we'll take a look at what we're using for the video. Now, we're only using System Informer and Process Monitor, and that's because there's really no need in using Wireshark or Fiddler or anything of that sense, because it's not communicating with a C2 server, it's not an info stealer or a rat, so there's really no point in having that running. Last, let's take a look at the malware itself. If we click Properties and go to Details, we can see this is very realistic looking. It may even be an actual file version number associated with genuine Google Chrome. I wouldn't know, but you know, that's neither here nor there. File description and product name are both Google Chrome. The file version and product version are both the same, however, they're very realistic looking. And the copyright is copyright 2021 Google LLC, all rights reserved. Original file name is the same as what we have, and language is English United States. Now, last thing to do is just to run the malware. So let's run this as administrator. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure, I do. We click yes, and immediately we can see consent open and close, and then Chrome PWA launcher opens twice and closes. And because of this, I thought this didn't work. However, we're going to go ahead and take a look on Process Monitor. So we're going to do two filters. The first filter that we're going to do is process name is, and I'm not typing all that. And then operation is create file. So we'll click add and apply. We can go ahead and pause this now, and as you can see, it's showing 748 events, so quite a few. Now, we're not going to spend too much time on this because most of these events are just the exact same thing. However, we're going to scroll down in the beginning and take a look at some of these. So it's accessing kernel32 and kernelbase.dll, msiexec.dll, and there's something I'm looking for that drops fairly early on. Here it is. So it's dropping rdpclient.exe. And if we take a look, it's accessing the recycling bin, WinReagent scratch. It's accessing the backup partition marker. And as you can see, it's dropping something called restorefiles.txt. Now, with the original ransomware, this is the file it would drop and it would immediately open saying your files have been infected and here's who you can contact to get them back. However, this is actually modified and we'll get to that in a little bit. But as you can see, it's accessing 7-zip and is trying to drop the file again a billion times, both in the 7-zip directory and the language directory. Not entirely sure why it's doing all that, but, you know, do with that as you will. We can also see that it's accessed uninstall.exe. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it did uninstall. And it does look like we still have 7-zip, so fair enough. Odd, but what can you do? It's accessing Microsoft Shared, and as you can see, it's accessing what looks to be language packs. And it's accessed co.txt in the language directory, so we'll keep going. It's trying to drop that restore files a billion times again, but as you can see, it's saying name collision because the file already exists. It's accessing shapecollector.exe. Well, it's trying to, but it's actually saying access denied despite me running it as administrator. It's also dropped phi.txt, fur.txt, pi.txt, GAGL, and these are all language text files. And it's also actually accessed VMware. Now, two different things could be happening. One, it's saying, oh, VMware is here. I don't give a shit. Or it's saying, oh, VMware is here, let's see, or maybe it doesn't, recognize VMware is there. Maybe it's looking for a specific folder for Windows 8. As you can see, it is trying to access Windows 8. Now, it says success, however, I'm on Windows 10. So it could be one of those things. I'm more leaning towards the theory that they just don't care if you're on VMware, but who really knows? It's also accessed mouse Win8. Fair enough. It's accessing a bunch of drivers. But we'll go ahead and move past that. And now this is the point where it's just dropping the restore files in a bunch of language folders. But we also could see that it's accessing or trying to access Internet Explorer, images, sign up, and it's going for Microsoft Update Health Tools, expediteupdater.exe. Very interesting. It's accessing the logs. Very, very interesting indeed. We've got plugscheduler.exe under Ruxim. If I jump to that really quick, does this have anything to do with Microsoft Edge or Windows? Yeah, it's Windows Update Lifecycle Component. Okay, I'm just not familiar with it. And then it's dropping restore files over and over again until the end of freaking time. So we'll go ahead and close this because we've seen everything that we're going to see with it. Now, if I wanted to go to one of those directories, let's go to like the 7-zip directory. So we'll do open file location and go up. Okay, maybe we're not going to see it there. We need to find one of the places where it was dropped. We can see that RDP client is actually still here in program data. And now in local disk C, we have restore files.txt. Now, I'm not going to open this. At least, I'm not going to open it yet. We are going to go ahead and restart the computer. So let's go ahead and do that. And the reason I'm restarting before we do anything else will actually be explained towards the end of the video, because I don't want to spoil anything. But let's go ahead and restart. And we will see some new and interesting things. So once you restart, it actually opens up that text file, the one I mentioned earlier, and that was usually used for the ransom note. However, what's actually in the text file now can really only be described as schizophrenic nonsense. If we go to System Informer and scroll all the way to the bottom, in a few seconds, we'll be able to see something new open up, something that's been referenced before. And you can see rdpclient.exe is now running in the background. And it's going to run full time, and whoa, where did my desktop go? And in a few seconds, you should see most of these icons, if not all of them, return to like the standard like .file, because it's actually going to overwrite every executable and DLL it can find with 666 bytes of just random nonsense. Haha, 666, that's the funny Satan number. And it gets, obviously more edgy. There are the files, and now we'll go ahead and open restorefiles.txt. And I'm going to read through the entire thing. Hello, all your files have been damaged without any possible way to recover. Feel free to commit suicide. So the malware immediately is just like, yeah, maybe you should kill yourself. So it's pretty based. We'll keep going. Why did you do this to my files? They asked me to do this. Is it the voices in your head? The voices are growing louder? The hatred is what makes me feel alive. That's what you secretly have fallen in love with. The hatred is the force that drives the life forward. The hell is my paradise. The suffer is the bliss. Others say the hate is what destroys yourself. I say that the hatred is eternal cure. So we've got either Ukrainian or Russian Joker, obviously. If you feel desperate you lost the files, use this despair to create the pain for others. Make them hate you. It is the source of your power. Do you think why the people go to schools and kill others? I have no idea what that even is trying to say. Why do people make terrorist ideologies? Why do governments covertly make you suffer? It's the essence of the future life. All we are immortal beings. When spiritual is not a way, the anti-spiritual is your victory point. So now we're playing Overwatch. In the manifested life, you have a choice to be with us, either be against. Okay. Sow the evil, reap the power is what I say to you. Saw the good, reap the weakness is what spiritual says to you. When you hate, you feel the power. You feel the flight. That fly is the anti-spirit touch. Use this to multiply the suffer. How can I use this power? Find inside the source of bliss. If this bliss grows stronger when you see the suffer, that is what I call the source. Check that by looking through the news how people kill others, how the people dies, how children are being tortured, how animals are executed. The death is your key. How can I give you my power? When you read this, concentrate on the intent to give the energy of your source to the meta source of this text. Amvisu destrotum lafictus spiritus. So, those are words. I like how most of them are in the English dictionary. Now, despite me going to college, I'm not actually majoring in Latin, so we're going to have to use Google Translate to translate that. Let's go ahead and copy this last line. And we do not have Firefox open, but I'll go ahead and open that now. And as you can see, it's pretty much acting like Firefox has just been recently installed. It doesn't actually have your history or settings or anything. Doesn't outright delete Firefox, but you basically got a browser from scratch. So we're going to ignore all this and just open a new tab. And we're going to type Google Translate. As you can see, new tab doesn't actually have anything. And if we go to detect language, we'll paste that in and... okay. Very helpful, Google. Cool. Let's try something else. Latin to English translator. We'll do translate.com. We will paste it here. And it's going to translate to English. And it says, I see the throat of the fictive spirit. I'm about as confused as I was last time. I think I would be less confused if I just left it as Latin, but whatever. Fair enough. Apparently they have a daily free allowance now. Well, that's neither here nor there. Now, this is the same restore files that's dropped in all those directories, and as we can see, RDP client should still be running. Indeed it is. It's not doing anything because it's already done what it needs to. However, this will start up every time that you restart the computer. Now, at this point, you've probably figured out why I wanted to restart the computer first, before I read the text file. If you're still confused, this doesn't actually work when you install it, or run it for the first time, because it errors out, as you could see the Windows error reporting that we got the first time. it doesn't actually work. For some reason, you have to restart the computer for it to actually do its file infecting payload. Don't know why, that's just what happens. But now if we go to video tools, we can see that a lot of them have been overwritten, not all of them. We still have System Informer and Process Monitor, which are the two that we needed. And it did not overwrite the malware. We can still open our browser. However, if we click any of these, the file does not have an app associated with it for performing this action. Please install an app, or if one is already installed, create an association in the default apps page settings. If we open Task Manager, the Task Manager still opens. What about regedit? Yeah, regedit still opens too. But as you can see, the computer is pretty much toast. Whenever you restart the computer, rdpclient.exe is going to run again, and it's going to do the exact same thing. So while it didn't completely wipe your computer, it pretty much completely wiped your computer. The only thing that you can really do at this point is maybe you can install an antivirus and get rid of it, but if the antivirus doesn't work, and in this case it may not, then your best bet is just to reinstall Windows entirely. But that is going to be it for the Azov virus. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video and you're new to the channel, please make sure to leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know what you thought was interesting about this malware, or if there's anything I didn't do in this video you want to see in future ones. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.